You are looking at live pictures now out of the U.S. Capitol. Gorgeous day there in Washington, D.C., one of the most famous and historic buildings in the entire world. Go along with News 4 San Antonio's Emily Baucum tonight for exclusive access, past security checkpoints, and behind closed doors to show you a day in the life of a congressman.
Welcome to Washington, the hustle and bustle of the United States Congress. Our tour guide to Republican Will HURD.
The nuts and bolts of actually being a member of Congress.
And Democrat Henry Cuellar.
Right now it's 7:30, be 6:30 in Texas time.
Congressman Cuellar is meeting South Texans who are about to tour the White House.
I worked for Parks and Wildlife for 26 years.
Wow.
It's a pleasure being here with you.
By 8 a.m., he's off to speak about gun laws.
We have some salsas.
While Congressman HURD has breakfast with students from San Antonio's Reagan High School.
I sit in two committees.
Now 9:30 a.m.
How's Laredo? Weather's good? Yes. Yeah.
Cuellar meets with students from Laredo.
Well, this is a great photo.
By mid-morning, HURD heads to a classified intelligence briefing. And Cuellar is live on C-SPAN questioning the Director of Homeland Security.
Right now we're under 20,000.
Of course, what they're doing for border security.
Around noon, HURD fires up his laptop and reads letters from constituents.
They're read, they're categorized, that we know how many people were asking questions about X issue.
The issue on people's minds today, making sure Congress funds community health centers.
What is often talked about up here in Washington, D.C., in the national press is not always the things that are talked about down in the district. It gives you a sense of where the district is.
I think we're this way.
It's 12:30 now. In another part of the Capitol complex, Cuellar's hearing ends. An afternoon of meetings begins.
It makes it for a very busy calendar. But my philosophy is very simple. If somebody's coming all the way to D.C., I'm going to try to spend time with them.
A trucking association, oil company, corn farmers, even the ambassador of Germany.
Read about your accomplishments.
To make sure he's prepared, the staff compiles briefing books.
For San Antonio, we've been doing the Mission Reach, doing some work for SAWS.
Each book breaks down complicated issues. It's his nightly homework.
You can't really get away from the headlines. I mean, you have to know what the president's tweeting about. You have to look at what's happening in Syria. But at the same time, you got constituents that are coming in. You got to do your homework.
What surprised me the most when I first came to Washington is the number of topics that you have to deal with on the course of the day.
4 p.m., HURD just met with South Texas business owners. Now, he's putting his signature on an education bill he's about to file on the House floor.
Gear Up is an existing program that helps kids from 7th grade all the way to their first year in college to be more successful in college and ensure that they graduate.
I'm just going to hand this to you.
Busy days for both congressmen, but these days it seems like Congress has never been more divided. Coming up at 6:30, Emily takes you back behind the scenes tonight, starting with a bipartisan breakfast. Well, last half hour at 6 o'clock, we took you to our nation's capital to show you a day in the life of Congress.
A couple of our Congress members, in fact, and News 4 San Antonio's Emily Baucum is back now to show you a side of Washington you may have thought didn't exist, the bipartisan side.
Not too far from Capitol Hill, Republican Will HURD and Democrat Henry Cuellar start their day at the same coffee shop.
Santa Elena Canyon in Big Bend is it's amazing.
Today they're talking national parks.
We were going to probably talk with Ways and Means.
And how to pay for a maintenance backlog.
And it's important that people realize that there are members of Congress that actually sit down, have coffee.
We always have something that we're working on together, and so it's good for us to be able to connect.
Connecting in the halls of Congress usually happens on the move in the underground tunnels connecting office buildings to the Capitol.
I walk between 16 and 17,000 steps a day.
So you're talking about 5-6 miles on that.
This is how members of Congress get around. A private train that goes underneath the street level. The Capitol complex is above us, and this is how they get between buildings so quickly.
The Capitol subway system and its labyrinth of hallways are where deals are brokered. When you emerge into that famous dome, the history that surrounds you is humbling.
I'm going to take y'all to see where George Washington's body was originally supposed to be buried.
The crypt, as it's called, now lies empty. America's first president didn't want to be worshipped.
I like this spot because it shows George Washington walked away from power. He set an example for our government.
Later, Congress remembers another hero, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., 50 years after his assassination.
As a 10-year-old kid, that was the most traumatic incident of my life.
50 years later, it is still painful. Precious Lord.
A moment so moving, the most visible and vocal politicians set aside their differences.
1946.
We step outside to reflect on what history has taught us.
It's always good to be able to stop and think about broad issues in life.
When it comes to San Antonio, we always stick together for San Antonio and our state.
If it was my last day, did people say I help people, right? And I think that's ultimately what this job in Congress is about.
Emily Baucum, News 4 San Antonio.